Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you are notified of when we upload new video content, which is always going to be on a regular basis. You'll be one of the first to view, first to like, first to comment, first to share, and all that good stuff there. Okay, so this is a review or reaction on Mercston's album, Top Tier, and I'm glad he is actually back with an album. Extremely great. Because he's one of the great MCs. Like, if you know about grime, you know about the movement era, you know that he's just going to deliver quality. That's all you know. That's all I know anyway, from a personal standpoint. So I'm not trying to be biased when it comes to these reviews. I have to keep it 100. Alright? Alright, so yeah, let's get into it. So the link to the album is in the description box below, so make sure you go listen to the album when you can. Alright, so first and foremost, the artwork. Pretty basic artwork, but you know, it's got a picture of him bang in the middle, and I believe he's wearing like a black silky shirt, and he's wearing shades, and the artwork basically, right? I mean, the title, where it says Top Tier, it's in gold, writing, but then there's like a crown on top of it. To me, it looks like it would be a crown, if that makes any sense. Now, it's funny because his name is Mercston, and Mercston, you know the M, so it looks like it's also an M at the same time. See, if you know about Mercston, that guy is a biologist. He is a biologist, so by nature of being a biologist, what tends to happen is you have these sort of creative ideas and you can put that into your artwork, where it's just an absolute, I don't even know what the word is. That's what I can say. I don't know what the word is. But listen, I'm getting way too excited and ahead of myself. Let me tone it down a bit. So yeah, there is 16 tracks on this album. 16 tracks. So let's just get into the tracks. So basically, you got Hat Trick, then you got Top Tier featuring Devlin and Gets. Yeah, I was wondering. In fact, I'll talk about it later. Then there's Facts featuring Blade Brown. Then there's No Banter featuring Wretch 32 or Wretch 32. Then there's Bathrobe. Then there's Youth Them Skit. Then there's T's and C's. Then there's Stay Under Me. Then there's Mercston. I'll talk about that in a minute as well. Stay Under Me featuring Kulan. And then there's Stone Love featuring Gigs. Then there's One and Only featuring Louis Ray. Then there's Redesign, Fortitude, Jess. And then there's More Life featuring Illegal. Alright, so first and foremost, I'm going to give this album like a 9.5 out of 10. First, when I was listening to it, and it got to, I believe it was, I don't know what song it was. One of those songs, I started thinking, this is probably like a 7 out of 10. But then it picked up again. And at the end of the day, when it comes to albums and it comes to projects, what happens is the artists are telling their story. They're telling, they're delivering from their experience and whatever, being creative, what they're doing. And I didn't expect this to be a grime album from Mercston, and it's not a purely grime album. Even in one track, he mentions that, some people say I don't do grime, some people say I don't do that. You understand? And at the end of the day, I've come to a realization that artists are artists, and they can do what the hell they want. Yeah, it's just selfish of me to be like, or selfish of you to only want them to do one particular genre. Do you understand? And when it comes to grime, you have to be, I don't say you have to be super aggressive and stay aggressive and all that stuff there, but the level of aggression, you can't keep that all throughout an album. You have to have an element of rhythm and grime. That's what I call it, R and grime. Or R&G, should I say. But anyway, let's get into the tracks as well. So my favorite tracks is going to obviously be from, well, obviously top tier because of Devlin and Gets. And I was hoping when I saw the notification pop up on Tidal, when I was on Tidal and I saw it there, and I was like, "Raw, Mercston new album, yeah, nice." I was just hoping there was a movement, just one track of a movement track, just one. There was none. And even in one song, he mentions like there's no more movement. What? Are you mad? No more movement? Alright, cool. Let me calm my head. No more movement. You have the time's done, innit? Like, what it is. But for those that don't know, the movement featured Mercston, Wretch 32, who else was there? Scorcher, Devlin. Who am I missing out? Ah, shit, I'm missing out someone. Alright, so Gets, Mercston, Wretch 32, Devlin. Who the fuck am I missing out? Wretch 32, Mercston, Gets, Devlin, Scorcher. I think that's it. Yeah. I think that was it. Can't remember. That's what I mean. Because they didn't really put out a full-blown project, not to my knowledge. Yeah, it's hard for me to really remember who else was in that collective. But, boy, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Them lot together on a track is just monstrous. Like the lyrical content that you have to understand. It's like they're all out trying to outdo each other. But anyway, let's get back into Mercston's album. All right, so and I do like no banter. I do to a degree, but not really. But yeah, I think, yeah, Fortitude is a great song as well, because he's talking about what he was feeling, what he was going through and all that stuff there. And yeah, I can talk about that in the next bit. Then also he's got a song called Jess, which is a very touching song. And I'm going to show you something here, because even, I believe Gets had a song as well. Where is this album? On his album Ghetto Gospel, the New Testament, which came out 2018. Wow. Why did I think that was last year? Time actually flies. Yeah, he's got a song called Jess Song. And that is, you know, obviously Mercston and Gets new Jess, and it's good to have that personal feel to it. And yo, it was a touching song. I can't even lie, bro. It was touching. Get me? One of those emotional tracks. Extremely emotional because of the situation. I don't want to even go into it real too deep, but it's a deep song. Yeah, so yeah, and then there's one song called TNC. Yeah, TNC featuring I don't think I mentioned who they featured, but now I'm gonna mention them. Jordy and Pep. Yeah, and they mentioned something, and it wasn't Mercston who said it, but it was it's either Jordy or Pep. One of them mentioned it, and they said something about not doing voodoo. And the way they said it was in a way that it was a bad thing. So let me get this clear. The only reason why some people perceive voodoo or any African spirituality as evil is because of the propaganda that has been put in place to, you know, keep us or keep our people divided from our natural roots and where we actually come from and how we actually really deal with situations. Because remember this, before the whole slavery situation, all that stuff there, Africa was thriving when Europe was basically dying. and we came to actually, and I said this in the review with Jay Haas as the album Big Conspiracy, where we as Moors, yeah, see there's different names for us, black people, Moors, like we basically took them out of the Dark Ages. Now, there's two reasons why you can call them Dark Ages. You call it the Dark Ages because Moors, obviously being black, obviously being dark, and obviously it was a dark time for, you know, people in Europe for, you know, being not being misinformed, but they never had certain information, and we gave them the mathematics, we gave them science, we gave them astrology, we gave them practically everything they know, and then they used that, flipped it, and then, you know, we are here, we are where we are right now. So, and you know, the way they're able to manipulate the truth, you understand, and make you believe that, oh, this is good and that is bad. It's like, for example, there's this test where there's these kids where they pick out that the black doll is evil or bad and the white doll is good. And this is like a black kid doing that. And I think there was another one where there was a white kid doing it as well. So it's like, you have to understand the deepness of how far and how complex they try and devalue who we are. You understand? They've studied who we are and used it against us so they can stay in control and in power. But they ain't going to be in power for too long because nature always restores herself. Now, I've gone on for a little bit longer than I should have, but it doesn't matter. This is Mercston's album review, so if this goes on for an hour, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so I don't believe it. Oh, that's the other song I'll talk about. So, Merc Skinner. When I saw the title of the song, I'm thinking, wait, what about Mike Skinner? Mike Skinner, The Streets. He's paying homage. Like, if you listen to the way the track is, he needs to do a video for that. He needs to do a video for that and actually, in the end, feature The Streets. You know, Mike Skinner and the band The Streets. Like, he needs to do that. He doesn't need to, but I would like to see it happen. Yeah, it's good that artists are able to, you know, pay homage to other artists or other bands that have inspired them. Do you get it? And if you've been about, you would know that The Streets was the shit. They really were. Like, even though their flow, like Mike Skinner's flow was kind of like off, like it still was like on. Like, it's mad. Like, he did his thing. And he immersed himself with grime artists. He did remixes, some songs that were remixed with grime artists. So he helped part of the scene grow as well. You understand, with his level of influence. So you got to salute Mike Skinner in The Streets. You have to salute them. Yeah. So listen, let's just talk about one song, One and Only. Now, when it like if you follow my reviews and I do if you understand what I do, there's gonna get a point where you're so familiar with what I do that I don't have to explain this. Alright, so basically, there's always one song that I take out of the album, and whether it's out of context or in context, I like to talk about it a little bit. Alright, so what tends to happen in life is we are led to believe that we're supposed to have this one and only, right? So we're led to believe that, you know, that we're supposed to have a monogamous relationship with one person, obviously, right? But what tends to happen is sometimes there's cheating that happens, sometimes there's breakups and all that stuff there. So they don't end up being the one and only that you had hoped for. Yeah? So if you genuinely want to have a successful monogamous relationship, first of all, you need to understand how relationships actually work. Yeah? And you've got to learn the different types of relationships, because the reality is this. Yeah? You can leave your answer in the comment section below. Was you taught, whether it's by your parents or school teachers or whoever, the different types of relationships. Was you taught it? Right? Because at the end of the day, when you're given those options and you see the benefits and you know the benefits, or you're like, okay, that may work. And you could test it out for yourself, have experiments and do all that stuff there. And if it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Cool. You know, that's life. Sometimes you've got to experiment. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. That's just life. You move on. But to increase the chances of any form of relationship to work, you've got to know how to develop yourself to become a pure thoroughbred alpha male. So you know how to be a man in a relationship. And it's the same thing. You have to develop yourself as a pure feminine woman. So you know how to be a woman in a relationship. And that's that. Alright? So, and learn how relationships actually work. So if you click the link in the description box below, you will get access to online courses such as, you know, roles and relationships. And that's where you're going to learn, you know, those pieces of information that I just told you just there. Alright? So if you've got any questions, any topics you'd like for us to discuss in the videos, leave that in the comment section below, along with the reviews and reactions you want us to do. And you never know, the video you suggest might just be next.